We're here for the regular scheduled commission meeting in commission chambers. We'll start out by asking everybody to turn off your phones or at least put them on silent if you could. Start out with a prayer from Monica Hill and the pledge from Darlene Christensen.
Our Father in heaven, we're grateful that we could be gathered in this meeting this day, that decisions may be able to be made for our county and that those who live in our county may be able to express their concerns. Father, we are grateful for our county and our nation. We ask, and our state, we ask thee to bless us and bless our economy. We also ask thee to bless us with the rain which we need for our crops this summer. We are grateful for those who serve our county and work for the best interests of its citizens. We are grateful to thee, and we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Monica.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Donna Lee, for that. Appreciate it. Next item on the agenda is approval of minutes for April 18th, 2022. Entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion to approve the minutes for April 18th, 2022.
Okay, have a motion?
Second.
Have a motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. The next item is report of warrants and review of counter signature and certified list of claims. Mike?
Commissioners, let's do the warrants real quick. We had a big check run this last week. $898,870.13. It had our monthly health insurance in it for $335,000. And we finally received the 2 semis that was ordered a year ago. And that,
2 of the 5.
2 of the 5? Okay,
there's
we
3
received
more
2.
coming.
And my sticker fell off. It was 200 and something thousand. I had it sticky on it, but it's moved to the wrong spot. $217,287 was for the 2 of the semis, so. Then, Commissioners, I have 1 certified claim. This was in the library, which I'm sure he wasn't aware that it was coming through. It was for the annual fire inspection of the sprinklers. So with that one, Commissioners, check number 379625, written claim was April 15th, $605.
Okay.
We also had one from the sheriff's office to Vernal City for $8,500. Check number 379682. There was no purchase order with that one.
That was probably the
It's their,
drug task force or something. So yeah, that would have been an agreement that wouldn't actually need a PO because it's already been signed as an agreement through a public meeting.
Okay. And on the, just to clarify, on those trucks, those were all through a CIB grant and through revitalization. So there's no tax.
Okay.
Yeah, we did, what was it, 50%? I was trying, a year and a half ago.
It's been a year and a half ago.
We used revitalization money for
50% and 50%
to match, or
from the
50 or
grant.
60, whatever it was, to
Come from
match what we
CIB.
did.
It's when we got the roto mill for the asphalt and then the 5
Well, I'm
trucks.
assuming that Zeke's going to apply for the reimbursement for that.
Yeah, the money's there,
Okay.
so we got to apply for it.
Okay.
Okay, so entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the counter signature on the certified list of claims as presented by Mike.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Cemetery
Okay,
certificate.
several cemeteries today, Commissioners. Jensen Cemetery, Grant C. Dexter, DEXTER, Plat B, Block 7, Space 30B. Mazer Cemetery, Lee J. Gardner, Lot 820, spaces 5 through 7. Rock Point Cemetery, Phase 2, Brent Jolly and Mickey Jolly, Block 335, Lot D, spaces 18 and 19. And Rock Point Cemetery, Clifton Southam, Block 335, Lot D, spaces 20 and 21.
Okay. Entertain a motion?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the cemetery certificates as presented by Clerk Auditor Mike Wilkins.
Okay, I have a motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Tax matters.
I do have a tax matter, Commissioner. I forwarded this to you last week. We finally, we received a final order of approval on from Strata. They've lowered the value from $47,519,609 down to $42,550,644. A loss of $968,965. So we have a refund due of $63,717.52 to Strata Networks.
Is that, how much of that is the county's?
You know, that, and I didn't do it because it's spread over so many different tax districts. I didn't total that one, but I'm guessing about 20% of that is the 25, probably 25% of that will be the county.
The largest share goes back on the school
Large
district.
sports share is the school district, that is true.
Okay,
Because it affected almost every tax district we had.
okay. Okay, entertain a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve, well, when we got the final order, I don't know that we need to
Aye.
accept it, accept the final
We
order.
need to request for the refund.
And
approve
then
the
it's the
refund.
request for the refund of $63,717.52 to Strata.
Okay,
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any
Hold
further
on,
discussion?
Hold on. Sorry, maybe I missed it, Commissioner Stringer, when you made your motion. Is it just the county's portion?
No, this is the whole thing. That's all was provided
That's-
was the total.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
$63,717.52 is the total refund
Yeah.
That's the total refund.
Yeah.
that we'll refund.
And we'll be refunding it all back, and then Wendy will track that with the other taxing districts,
Wendy will
right, on-
withhold
on
it
their
from all the
portion.
taxing entities.
Okay, great.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Any other tax matters?
Not that I
Mike, did
have.
you have anything else? Business licenses.
Good morning, Gabby Hawks Blackburn with Community Development. We have 3 home-based businesses today. They all have the same conditions,
Okay,
Let's just,
let's do all three of
all
them.
3 of them. The first one is Running J Consulting, located at 2411 South, 300 West, parcel number 5-108-116 in the RA1 zone. This is like management on oil-filled well pads. His home will just be used as a home-based like office, basically. He won't store any of his commercial equipment there. So we went and checked it out. Everything looks good. We recommend approval of this with the condition that they follow all home-based business rules and regulations. The next one is DS Dancewear LLC,
What was
located
that? I'm sorry.
DS, like the letters DNS, Dancewear LLC, located at 2851 West, 1000 North, parcel number 4-108-43. This is also in the RA1 zone. She does custom sewing. She's the only employee. We also went and looked at this one. Everything checks out. The home will be where she does the sewing, but it's not a commercial machine. So this one has the same regulations. And then the last one is Home Construction and Contracting, located at 2066 South, 150 West, parcel number 5-108-303. And this one's also in the RA1 zone. This is just a general contractor, so he will store some like pipeline fittings and drills and stuff at his home, but he'll have to follow the home-based business rules and regulations for storage, which is just 25% of the property and nothing in the front yard.
Okay,
What was
Okay.
his company's name again?
Home Construction and Contracting.
And he's got pipe and,
And fittings and drills is what he said.
Just like
So-
plastic pipe?
Yeah, like
just the
PVC for
PEX pipe.
Okay.
plumbing and stuff.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the three home-based business licenses for Running J Consulting, DS Dancewear LLC, and Home Construction and Contracting.
Okay,
Follow all their rules and regulations that have been outlined on their permit outlined.
okay, I have a motion.
second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on any of those three? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gabby. Appreciate that. Next item on the agenda is Bywater Solutions Met Abase contract.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Tegan Troutner for the Uintah County Attorney's Office. I'm standing in for Sam Passy, the Library Director. What we're proposing today is it's a contract for services from Bywater Solutions. It's a programming service that will assist the library to create reports and dashboards from existing systems where the data is stored, which will ultimately assist the library with their management decisions. And I reviewed the contract, and it's good.
Perfect. Okay. Entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the contract with Bywater Solutions and the Met Abase contract, including, does it have an amount?
Yeah, so the amount for this contract for the installation and configuration, it's $2,500. The annual support hosting fee is $1,000, and then the training is $1,000. And the library has, it's my understanding, they have sufficient funds to cover that.
Okay.
And how many years is it good for?
It's a 2-year term.
Okay. So I will complete my motion. Approve the contract with Bywater Solutions in the amount of $2,500 with annual, it's for a term of 2 years, with an annual support of $1,000 and training at $1,000 per year, including authorization of signature.
The training is just
Just
for
one
the
time?
1 year,
Just
one
once.
time.
Okay, so have a
I'll
motion.
second it.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? John? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, the next three items on the agenda, the benefit protection, those two, we are gonna move those to a later date because we've already discussed those and Tanya is not here to talk about them. She is, let's see, and the next one, the service agreement for the road department, that one has already been taken care of. They just couldn't find the copy of the contract and they found it today, so. We'll move down to, the next item would be Kim and Robert Barton requesting approval to install a 30 feet of fence, 6 foot tall wood privacy fence in their front yard and within the county road right of way on property located at 335 North, 2500 West, Vernal, Utah. Serial number 411827. Matt?
All right, Matt Kazir with Community Development Office. Okay, so kind of to get where this is, here, this is the property that's highlighted here. This is 500 North and 2500 West corner up in Mazer with the Mazer 7-Eleven store. So they're south of the 7-Eleven, a few homes. So what they're wanting to do, and there's two actions by the commission, I guess. It could be, so the first one is they want to install a 30 feet of fence within their front yard, and they want that fence to be 6 feet tall. The current ordinance says that any fence over 4 feet tall, unless it's 90% see-through, has to be approved by the commission. And so that's one of the items, the height of the fence. It is a solid fence that they're requesting. And then they're also requesting to put that fence within the county right-of-way. And we'll get into why and where it would be and things. This is just a closer view of the home. You can see here that along 2500, there's some trees along the road, and then they have these evergreen bush type plants that were quite large, and you'll see in some pictures. But that's how it looked before, and it looks like they had to come in and run a sewer line out to the road, and so they cut through those evergreens and some of the trees, and so they're just looking to maintain the privacy that those things provided. So here's what it looks like now that they've had to clear out some of that area in front of their house. And so this is where the 30 feet of fence would go between those two large trees, and just to block that part of the front of the house. And you can see that's what it looked like from before, looking from their house out to the street. You can see kind of how tall those things were. And so this is where they're wanting to put the fence. The county, this is a Class B maintained county road, and so the county claims a 66-foot right-of-way. This is the approximate location of the 33 feet on that half of the road. And they're wanting to put their fence about 6 feet inside of that, but it would be behind the large trees that run along the road there. This is kind of the view from the shoulder looking north up towards Mazer 7-Eleven. And this is the place where they'd want to put the fence. And then this is from the shoulder looking south. And again, this is where the fence would be. And then this is in, I don't know, I was standing in the travel lane just to show what it looks like as you'd be driving down the road in both directions there. I sent this over to Scott Hardman with the road department as well. He did go out and take a look at it. I'm sorry, I didn't see if he was here or not. But he did send me an email saying he's been to the site a couple different times, and he doesn't see any problems that this would cause with traffic or views or anything like that. And so he was okay with that fence going in. I'm aware of one other fence that was put in the county right-of-way, had to be 7 or 8 years ago maybe. And the commission at that time, they did have the people record some kind of a notice or affidavit on the property that just said that they were aware that the fence was being put in the county right-of-way, and that if the road needed to be expanded, the fence would be ripped out at their expense and not put back. So I think that's the information that I have on this one for you.
Can you zoom in on that picture at all?
Let's see. I don't know.
I just wondered, looks like there's already a fence farther down the road.
Down here?
Yeah.
Yeah. There are, I mean, as you drive around the county, there are some older fences. I don't know how long that 4-foot fence rule's been in place. I'm pretty sure it was here when I got here. But there are some older fences around the community that there are some 6-foot fences in people's yards. And then the county, I guess the commission approved one south of this down by Main Street because that intersection, the lights from Main Street were shining right into their home. And so
Well,
they
yeah,
wanted-
you know, and this here is, you know, we opened up the can of worms. You know, that one down there, I kind of understood where all the lights were coming up and
Yeah.
traffic and whatever, you know, I kind of understand, but, you know, we start, okay, we allow this, where does it stop?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's, you know, looking in the picture, you can see down the road, it looks like to me there's to the north there's a kind of a wire fence out front there, right there above your arrows, right in there maybe.
Oh, it's wood.
Is it wood?
There's a wood fence here.
And
Has it been approved to be out on where it's at, or they just do it?
No, yeah, like I said, there's several fences that have been there for a long time that, whether they Whether they were allowed when they were put in or not, I don't know.
Where this one had.
The
this
one
one had
difference,
8-foot tall bushes there already. I mean, it wasn't like we're gonna, and they're not wanting to cover the whole front. They're just trying to cover up where they had to dig through.
yeah, so you can see, and sorry, the picture's not great, but there's a driveway entrance here and then another one down here with kind of a loop around driveway. So you can see into the property from both of those directions. They're not wanting to totally enclose the entire property.
The original picture that you showed, I think that the homeowner had taken that, okay, go forward just a little bit.
This one here?
Yeah. So that's what it looked like before it was removed. And that vegetation, I don't know if it's 6 or 8 or what have you. Now, was that vegetation any kind of violation of any county policy? It was back on their property. It's if the vegetation was not, because it's clearly obscuring the road,
Yeah.
the travel way.
So I don't know that we have anything with vegetation,
Well,
other than if it's impeding
Right.
maybe an intersection or something
well,
like
and we
that.
did on 2500
Yeah.
down at 500 South, we did have some issues where we removed it because it was a sight distance issue. Is there anything about this that would have a problem vegetation wise?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, if you look, like I say, you can see the driveway here on both sides.
Okay.
They're wanting to be right here in the middle. And so from their driveway, that fence isn't going to affect any.
I guess
kind
what
of
I'm
size.
getting at is if it wasn't a sight distance issue or if it wasn't a violation that was pre-existing, then I'm not sure, especially with a recording that is inside of our easement and that it has no right to stay if we decide to do something. I guess I don't really see what the issue would be.
What issue, do you see any issues that this is gonna cause down the road or in the future for allowing other people to do something that instead of setting this up this way or not, or do you see any problems?
I mean, this one, they're not wanting to enclose their whole front yard. It's a portion. I don't know. I think, and John's probably the better one to answer that kind of question maybe, but.
So this rule where it's not dealing with sight and safety, it's more of an aesthetic rule that we have. I guess if you take it to its conclusion, does the county want to have on all of our county roads 6-foot fences going all the way down in front of everybody's yard? Because if you do allow it on one, unless you have a reasonable reason to deny it on another, it does become more difficult. The one that's down the street, the reasons that were put into the record on why it was allowed was because they were getting pounded with headlights, at all different hours. And so there was the ability for that homeowner to actually enjoy even the inside of their house because that light obviously penetrates through and causes that type of issue. That's an easy fact pattern to distinguish yourself from other applicants. This, I would have to say we would be hard pressed to find other reasons to then turn down other applicants. And so you could, if everybody wanted to, you could be lining all your county streets with 6-foot fences all the way down. That's a policy decision. Like I said, it's an aesthetic issue. I'm just advising how we would be able to get away from another application or not. The bigger issue with my office is even though we do in some instances allow people to be within the right of way, we are constantly fighting rights of way and where the property line is on almost a weekly basis. And fence lines at some point do start establishing property lines even if they're not supposed to. Because when you go 20, 30 years down the road, somewhat pun intended, we don't have the institutional knowledge. If something is recorded, you do have the question on whether or not it's enforceable. We of course will say it is enforceable, but it just introduces problems. And if you need to get in there on emergency aspect, do we know where the other utilities are within this road. Are there any power lines, fiber optic cables, sewer, gas, anything?
I don't know. I mean, you can see the power lines over here on the opposite side of the road.
It looks, in your other photo, it looks like it crosses over a little farther north, but
Let's
that's
see.
just one photo.
Yeah, so you've got those, and then you're gonna
Yeah.
have, these are going to individual homes typically that will
Well,
be crossing.
Is
over.
there a road cut in 2500 there? Because they were putting in sewer, and if they had to cross the road, there'd be a road cut there.
Yeah, and I don't know where the water and sewer is exactly. They probably did have some kind of encroachment permit either way.
Well, yeah, but what I mean is, if it's on the other side of the road, then you see those, they're all over the
Yeah.
place and are nice.
I didn't see a road
roads.
cut when I was out there.
So it's probably under that side right there.
And they could have horizontal drilled to it
Well,
or something as
The
well.
one that John is talking about down at Main Street, I know that the lights were shining in. My biggest concern there was they had one driveway. It was a narrow driveway, and they wanted to run the fence right to the edge. And I expressed concern then about how do they get in and out. And the only safety they have is that shoulder
Yeah.
right there. When I look at this one, I can see with a circular drive like that, it does seem like there's less of a chance for, that sight distance certainly isn't an issue. So maybe for John, that's, he said I was really on the fence about the one down at Main Street because of the fact that they really didn't have much. I mean, they were sticking their nose out to see if something was coming. This one doesn't seem to have that problem.
And the fence, they want to build it behind the trees, correct? So the trees and the shrubs are going to be more in the right-of-way than the fence is. See,
So that,
it's farther away from the road than the trees are.
so they're on the
trees are gonna
property,
be
their
about-
side, I guess, of the trees,
Yeah,
looks
closer
like-
to the home.
to the home.
They're gonna be about 4 foot, 6 foot in front of the trees, or behind the trees, or
Yeah.
closer to the home.
Yeah. I'd like to hear from the owners, if possible. Could you come up to a mic and state your name and?
Thank you. I'm Kim Barton. Basically, all we want to do is just get some privacy back. Those bushes that they had to tear out were a good 10 feet tall, at least. And if you don't feel comfortable about granting us to do it that close to the road, if you would at least allow us to build a 6-foot fence clear back at the 33-foot mark. What you can't really see in these pictures is that at the 33-foot mark, you're a third of the way into those bushes. It's not going to obstruct anybody's vision. The water meter that they just put in, because they had to replace the water line, which is what caused this, the water meter is inside of there, and Mazer Water has already said that they're fine if the fence goes on the side by the road because they still have plenty of access. The sewer lines are further north down by the driveway, so there's nothing else on our side right there. Is that what your question was?
We were thinking of the mains that you were tying into. They're running along the road,
The sewer lines are north of that.
but are they
in the
on,
driveway.
are they on your side of the road? Because
Where-
they're running up and down north and south, and then you came out from your house and tied into them.
It's,
Where was the sewer
it's on
line
the
when it
other
got
side.
tied
It's actually
into?
on the other side of the road, so it could be
On
because we
the
had to
east side?
because we had to have the sewer line fixed a few years ago too. So yeah, it actually goes in almost to the other side of the road, underneath the road, of course.
Okay,
So
so
it's-
the 33 is where it's right there, it's about halfway through the bushes.
It's about a third of the way through the bushes.
But where you're asking to put it is just behind the trees,
Yes, but
which
like
is
I
farther
said,
away than the trees are.
if you're not comfortable with that, we would, if we have to do the 33 feet, we would at least ask for a 6-foot fence there, and it's so far into the bushes, it's not going to obstruct anything.
Are you gonna leave the bushes and everything else there then? So it's just a section?
Yeah,
We're
it's
just talking a small
It's just that the
section.
whole middle is gone now, so that would look better with a fence.
It'll take you
Does that
10
answer your
years to get
questions?
bushes back, to grow back in.
Well,
fill it
it's
back in.
taken over 50 years for them to get that big,
Yeah.
so.
What about some 6-foot bushes? Buy them all ready. That kind of just concerns me. We get bouncing around and giving, it's gonna open up how are we gonna tell anybody no throughout the county? We just well do away with this policy if we're gonna open it up. But my thoughts, I'm just giving thoughts.
If my opinion is, do you have anything else you'd like to say?
Not unless you have any other questions.
No, I'm good. My thoughts are if it was going across the whole property, if the shrubs weren't already there, if we didn't have a circular drive so the fire can get in and out easy enough, I can see the concern. But it's just one small section just to give them some privacy back that they've had for 50 years. So,
I agree with you. I just hate setting this into motion. Matt, how much problem would this cause down the road? Do you think people coming in saying, okay, well, we've allowed this, we've done it, just because of you? You know, I see with the headlight deal and stuff like that a little bit better, but I just, kind of concerns me. Matt, are you concerned about that, or you're the one that has to handle this?
Well, I mean, it's like John said, you know, each case is kind of individual, and you have to look at it on an individual basis, and you'd have to find, if you approve this one, then you have to find something that's different from the next ones to say, hey, this is why we approved this one and not approving this one.
well,
You know, that's a
I'm
good
stating
point.
why I would. It's not across the whole front. They have access on both sides of the property. It's something that is
It's
out
in
of their
line.
control, that they lost the privacy that they had. And it's just something you can't plant. Unfortunately, you can't buy 6-foot shrubs and put back in there, so
Yeah.
that's me. Do you have anything else, Matt?
That's all I've got.
Do you have any further discussion? I'll put it up for a motion.
Let's see, is it, whose turn is it? My turn, isn't it? Okay, Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion that we approve the Kim and Robert Barton's approval for installing a 30-foot section of 6-foot tall wood privacy fence in their front yard and within the county road right-of-way on property located at 335 North, 2500 West, Vernal, Utah, serial number 041180027, with all, what did you call that earlier? Maybe that we're gonna, this does get approved.
To record, you want to
Record it,
record
yeah.
something on the property?
I'd make that motion
Okay.
just to get it out there for a vote.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a
A
second?
second,
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
yes. I'm not sure why, if the proponent was saying that they could back out of our right-of-way. If they could go back to the edge of the right-of-way instead of being in the right-of-way, that addresses one of John's problems. It also keeps the bar set for future applicants, that if they can stay outside of the right-of-way and then meet the site distance and other things. And since they didn't seem to have an objection to that, I would prefer to move it to the edge of the right-of-way.
Yeah, me too.
Can we have a
Well-
discussion on that for a minute?
Yeah,
A
that's
6-foot
discussion. This is
a
discussion
6-foot
time.
wood fence will come down in about 5 minutes. Those trees that's closer to the line, you're gonna be a day taking those trees out by the time you grind the stumps. So what they have there now is it's a lot harder to deal with than a 6-foot fence, if we need to take it down to work on the road or utilities. And to do that to their front yard, if the trees weren't there, I'd agree with 100% with what you're saying. But those trees, I mean, they take a while to get out and to get the stumps and the roots. The roots on those trees are more damage into the pipelines and the roads than anything else. So if you want stuff out of the right of way, maybe all that ought to come out. So I understand what you're saying, but
I guess for me though, when we do our road improvement projects, we should be cleaning up the width of the whole right of way whenever we get an opportunity. Like I said, we deal with right of way issues probably on a weekly basis where there's a question about where is the right of way, where's the disturbed area, how far does it go out? I'm defining rights of way for GIS. This is a problem that nobody has cleaned up unless we do a full, extensive, massive improvement project on a road. But then, even then, people want to, our utility companies all the time are out there hacking down trees because they're coming within their right of way. Our canal companies allowed people to build stuff, playground equipment, all kinds of stuff into their right of way. And then when they wanted to transfer it over to the county, we had to deal with, well, are we going to take that right of way on because it's now encroached with all these other permanent structures. It's a mess for my office. I don't know how to sugarcoat it. It is just a mess for my office to deal with.
is this a total of 66-foot right of way through there?
Yeah, 33 foot.
And that's from the center of the road? Are you sure that's 33 feet?
I didn't, this came
I
from.
think you're
them.
farther out. I mean, that road is 20, I can't remember what that road is. It's 40-something feet. I think you're farther.
Well, yeah.
You sure they didn't measure 33 feet from the edge of the road?
Because I see the power line and the strata post in the right of way.
Yeah, on
As
the
well.
outside of the trees.
Yeah.
Well,
And this photo could be deceptive on whether this is in front of the trees or behind the trees because of the angle.
sure.
It looks to me like that's actually behind, closer to the homes than the trees, but it's all perspective and a picture when you don't know the exact direction it was taken.
Well, I understand everybody's concern, John's and everybody's, but there again, I'm still stuck on it. It's private property. I know it's a right of way. They had 10-foot tall shrubs there. They have trees already in the right of way. What they're asking to put in will come down easier and does less destruction than what's there. So that's where I sit. Any other discussion? Do you want to change your motion, or do you want to vote on this motion that's at hand?
I'd like to keep my motion there, Mr. Chairman, and vote on it and go from there if we come up with an alternative.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
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 Motion passed.
Okay, I'll work with them then and John's office maybe to get what needs to be recorded on there.
Okay.
I'll take a look. I'm just gonna make a comment though. I get really frustrated dealing with rights of way across the county. I really, really do. And so I don't know if this is where we just send it to the commission every time these questions come up and let you guys go out and inspect them and define the rights of way. I mean, it's a problem. It's a mess. But you made the decision and I'll work with Kazir's office and get it done.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is a non-compliant building division requesting authorization to record a certified non-compliant building or structure on property located at 7064 North, 7500 East La Pointe, Utah, serial number 131143.
Okay, this property, they did have a building permit, and it was for a accessory dwelling unit or a guest home on a piece of property. And when our inspector went out to do the footing inspection, we usually check the setbacks, and they had their property marked And so we measured off of their marks, and it complied with the setbacks. Come to find out, when the structure was built and then a new aerial photograph was taken, the owner didn't know where their property lines were. They thought they were somewhere else on the property. And so when they built it, they actually built it over the top of the property line. And so when we found that out, we contacted the owner and said, hey, this is what the problem is. He came in the office several times, and we tried to show him what the issue was, and he tried to show us where he thought his property lines were, and we were trying to show him where they actually were. But then we didn't hear from him for a while, and so we sent him a certified letter letting him know, hey, this is something that needs to get cleaned up so that we can issue the certificate of occupancy on the home. And so we sent him that letter, and they did contact Aaron Eaton from our office, and he kind of went through what they needed, and it sounds like they're working on it. And it sounds like they called just before I left. As I was leaving, I was told that they had called in this morning and they had sent in something for us to review. So it looks like they're trying to get it taken care of. And so what we'd recommend is that we give them 90 days to get it resolved. That way, if they get it resolved, there's no issues and we'll move forward. If they don't, it saves us from having to go back through the notification process and stuff again. So, but it looks like they've been cooperative in the past, and it looks like they're trying their best to get it resolved. So.
Okay. Any questions? Entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve authorizing community development to post or record a non-compliant structure after 90 days if the owners of the property fail to correct the deficiencies that are there.
Okay. A motion.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Okay, we're come to the time of our meeting for public comment. Open it up for 10 minutes. Ask you to keep your comments to 3 minutes if we could. Anybody? Dan? Nobody?
I got a question on this. What if this person sells their home in the next 90 days and someone buys it? They don't know they have a non-compliant structure. I just had that thought come through. How does it protect the new buyer that they've got a non-compliant structure if nothing's recorded for 90 days? 90 days, that home could be sold.
Yeah.
That was just a thought
Yeah,
I had.
Matt
if you would.
has got an answer. It's a good question,
Yeah.
but I think in this case, well, Matt will tell you. It's a good question.
Yeah, so, a certificate of occupancy hasn't been issued on the home yet, so that should be something that lenders and things generally check on, and people as they're buying things should be checking to make sure that things have a certificate of occupancy. So if somebody called us and said, hey, we're looking to buy this house, are there any problems with it? Does it have a certificate of occupancy? We would tell them.
They're
no.
actually constructing it. Or
So
most of it
it's
constructed.
It's pretty well done. Yeah, they're just waiting to get this corrected before the certificate of
So,
occupancy.
but to follow up on Mike's question, how is it that we found out that they were across the property line, that they built not on their property?
Yeah, so I don't know if it could have come from the assessor's office, or just as we were reviewing it to issue the C of O, we noticed with the new aerial photographs, had the home on there, and we noticed that the property line, it didn't look correct. And so we started looking at it a little deeper to see, you know, were the property lines off in that area on the map itself, and come to find out they thought their property line was somewhere that it wasn't. So,
Sounds good. Any other public comment? Okay. Closed public comment. We don't have any need for a closed session today, so motion for adjournment.
Adjourn.
We're adjourned.
Well, what a bad time.